So this is the response I talked about earlier. It's a bit long, but basically, we'll talk about it in our, it's from Facebook. So you'll find it on my prompt on Facebook under the comments. I just felt like I want it here because it addressed a lot of things that I thought were conversational points, but I'll just go through it. We'll not even discuss it today, but in season 4, of course, we'll have this topic again. So this, my friend, says, not toxicity, but hey. Number 1, my parents quarreled me a lot. We never had a moment to just sit and talk like child to parent, and when it happened, it was after the quarrel. It was rare because I was also a goody two-shoes and I am my parents' favorite, but if it happened, it was annoying. So as an adult, I noticed 3 years ago that the only way I communicated was by shouting if I was angry. It took a job loss because of my tone. It took a patient boss who, by the way, defended me but used to whip me properly in person. He got moved and rehired me in his new location. And as I am writing this, we are meeting for lunch because, dear Lord, in his life, you need one person with chances, connection, and lots of love. For all that your parents never gave you, I am crying now. I am so sorry, sending out so much love. And I have said this in the podcast where I was talking about toxic workplaces. You will deal with so much, but all you need is that one person. That one person who will extend you grace. That is the one person who will change your life completely. You just need one person. And I said in life, what I aspire to do is to be that person for other people, to be that person I needed at that time. If I can be that for someone else, I am happy. I am happy. And I feel like I have already done that with this podcast as well. I feel like this is, if I had someone telling me what I'm telling people right now, earlier, it would be a game changer. So I am so happy for this person that came through for you. They looked at you and they saw right through you. And this is what I was saying by, you need someone, we all need to understand people from a different perspective. Just because someone is shouting does not mean that they are bad-mannered. There's somewhere it's coming from. So if we extend people such grace, we get to know them from a different light. And you find that they're really beautiful people, only that their trauma has probably shaped them to be this person that they are. And we are grateful for knowledge. Number 2, so you said, so while I have moved from shouting, I now talk. And because I find it frustrating because I feel unheard, I break down and just shut down when I'm upset. Ooh, I feel you. I feel you. Number 2, food trauma. Someone else has brought this up. I am going to do research on this. It is new to me and this is how. So growing up, we were a great middle class family, eating meat or fish, ugali and vegetable. And for this, mostly fruits were not a part. They came, but not as part of a meal. And I will struggle to buy and just eat fruits. That is not even main. We also never had snacks. You know how parents branch into a supermarket, because in Kenya we call supermarket super. You see how parents branch into a super after work to get kids snacks. Mine rarely did. When I began working, I'd buy all the sugar in the world. In hindsight, it seemed to me like a good life. Anything sugar and chips was eaten. But I believe in medical checkups, and guess what? I don't know why you should, I believe. There's a typo somewhere there. Okay, in medical checkups, and guess what? My pressure is elevated and I check my history of food. Yeah, there it is. Working on bringing it down, lakini. So there's the food trauma again that I said we'll address in season 4, where this is related to things that you didn't have as a child and now you splurge on as an adult, and it can get harmful. So I hope you can be able to manage your sugar you're still young. Don't worry. It will be great. And the fact that it was caused by diet in your adulthood, I feel like it can be reversed because, I'll tell you the story of me and my food as well. And number 3, hobbies. So when you talk to whites, the common conversation starter is, what are your hobbies? But then I did not have a bike, so I cannot cycle. I cannot swim. I cannot play most sports because, see, I was to read and pass my exams. And so the main cause of conflict between me and my partner is what we can do together if I have no hobby. Believe you me, it is a serious conflict because I just want to stay indoors and watch. But he wants to be out doing things. These are things my own kids will have to learn. Being a firstborn, the only thing I need at the end of the week is rest because we work all our lives and people do not understand that. By the way, we can do a podcast on things that happen or how your parents have influenced your behavior and not just their toxic side. And not just the toxic side like my last 2 comments. Anyway, I can do one with you on that. Yes, I would love to have you. Oh my goodness, this is such a brilliant person. Their name is Belinda. They're called Achieng Kogol on Facebook. That's the name I remember them with. But Belinda is a beautiful writer. She's written a book. Why didn't I put it on the set today? She's written a book that I have, Kito Cha Doa. I think it's Kito Cha Doa. It's Kiswahili. And it's a brilliant book. It's the first Kiswahili book I have ever read in my life. But anyway, I would love to have her. I will definitely bring her in for this topic in season 4. Oh my goodness. Yes, 100 times. And hobbies. I'm not with you here because I think I have hobbies. I really love to swim. I was given the chance with my parents when I was growing up. We had access to a place where we could swim. Trying to think of something else. I was not a very active child, but I think like my sisters they have like way more hobbies. I was there, write poems, sing. I don't know. Yeah. But hobbies is huge. Yeah. Because there's something we've discussed before, that hobbies are only a luxury for the rich. You can't be on survival mode struggling to make a living and have hobbies. And that is how I thought we got to a point where everything was being monetized. And I think on a podcast where I was surviving Nairobi, I said, I'm so exhausted of every skill I have being something that can be monetized. I just want to play the guitar. I just want to sing. I don't want it to make money for me. This is something I do when I'm decompressing. It's okay. It doesn't have to make money, but we realize when you're on survival mode, when you're trying to make ends meet, everything you have, every single talent you have, everything you have ever accessed in your life should be used for monetary value, and it's exhausting. So yes, we'll get to talk about all of that in the season. I said I won't expound on that, but anyway. Another response I got here. Oh my goodness, this one melted my heart. I hope I do not cry while reading it. Hello, Olive. I am Belinda. I'll use Belinda, the one we've read before, because she wants her identity to be hidden. Hi, Olive. I'm Belinda. Please hide my identity. I'm a lastborn and I have an elder sister. She is only 2 years older than me, but I had to mature at an early age. So your sister had to mature at an early age. I have always had everything I wanted, unlike her. Initially, I thought she was the problem, but ever since I started watching the In All Honesty podcast, I have realized that she is just a victim of toxic parenting. My sister wasn't the type of kid to catch up easily. She was shy and always scared. This made it difficult for her to catch up in class. My dad would whip her so much and my mom wouldn't say a word. Luckily, I wouldn't say a word. wouldn't say a word. Luckily, I don't know how she did it, but by the time she got to upper primary, her grades improved and was always among the best. Unfortunately, this was never good enough for my parents. Fast forward, she joins campus, still believing that she isn't good enough and does everything to get validation from people. My sister is very hardworking, managed to start a hustle ya kuthrift nguo, saved and started a laundry business to help pay for her rent and school fees. I didn't know she pays for her own school fees until last 2021 when she was supposed to graduate but didn't. Not that I have never cared about her, but she is so reserved about her personal life and doesn't always share. I did pay her a visit and found her diary. Let me tell you, Olive, I cried. The things this girl has gone through, from sexual abuse by a family member to drug addiction to normalizing abusive relationships. I got to understand why she hardly comes home nor associate herself with any extended family members. I'm glad in November she will be 1 year free from drugs, but still struggles with the other traumas. To you and the In All Honesty podcast family, kindly advice on how to help her. I don't even know. Because her story is very familiar to me, because when I was reading it, I was just like, yo. Her story is very familiar to me. And I remember when trying to express myself and my sisters thought I was the problem. Everyone in the family thought I was the problem. So I just kept to myself. And to date, as I have mentioned before, I struggle with connection. I literally do not connect with anyone. I do not miss anyone. I just became someone who's completely detached from any humans. I just go about life, surviving. I just go find a job, find money, try and build my life. I find people, I have good time with people, I talk to people, I'm very warm and welcoming. Honestly, you will think that you are my best friend. And I will go ahead and forget that particular interaction we had and I move on with life because I just learned how to completely detach. And what you're saying is very close to my heart because, as I said, I only opened up to my sisters, was it like 3 weeks ago or something, when I was telling them, it's funny that I am the only person in this family who can complain about a sexual abuse incident. We live with a family of girls. But then why was I the one who was picked? Right? Because you're the reserved one. You're the one who you're the independent one, the one who no one keeps an eye on you. So you're the easy target for people who would like to harm you. And for your sister, first of all, I want to thank you so much for speaking for your sister. It means a lot. For people who have gone through so much, it means so much when someone else now understands you. It means so much when someone else now wants to speak for you because for so long you've just had yourself. And to think that someone now understands you makes it so much easier. So for me, what my 2 younger sisters have done, and I feel is a different, like I'm growing right now, is because they've just been there. They're just been there. My sisters, because I even found it difficult to respond to things. My sisters will call me and tell me, Olive, I love you. Olive, tell me if you need something. Hey, Olive, here is 5,000 shillings. Go and buy yourself food. Like my sisters are genuinely just shoving themselves into my life because I'm very distant. If you don't make the effort to come to me, you will never see me. So I really appreciate them for that. And I'm telling you, you literally spoke my life experience. My sisters only learnt about the part of my life, or rather my experience in their adulthood. So, of course, being the black sheep, being the whatevers that we've discussed in the previous podcast, I ruffled a lot of feathers with the way I lived life or the decisions I made, especially with my parents. And none of my siblings could see my perspective until they chose to make some decisions that didn't align with what my parents wanted. And it is at this point that they saw my parents' true colors. So it is at this point that they were like, Olive, this is what you were saying. This is what you have been going through. So it feels very affirming for someone else to see your perspective, because for a very long time, can you imagine from the time you were a child? For me, from the time I was a child to the time when was the first time my sister actually acknowledged an experience I had? 28, maybe. So you can imagine it's right over 20 years of your life where no one hears your side of the story, where no one believes you, no one cares for what you have to say. So you can imagine you just got into a world where you're just like, me, I'm on my own. So for someone to come in and affirm you and tell you, oh my goodness, now I see it, now I get it. Oh my goodness, I can see this perspective now. It's like, So I think it's very beautiful that you're telling your sister's story without biases from a very clear perspective. I love that she is 1 year clean. I feel so good that she has you. I feel so confident that you can be there for her. And there's not much you can do for someone who's very distant. All you can do is just consistently be there. Just consistently be there. On the day when everything will be closing in on them, you will be the first thought in their head. So it's just, there's not much you can do. You can just consistently be there for them. If you can call them, tell them, oh, do you want to come for lunch? Or I don't know, just be there. I wouldn't know what to do because I do not even expect something from people. If I told you to go ask your sister how she'd want you to be there for her, I don't think it can work, because even we don't know how we want people to be there for us. Because what do I need from you? Cooking, I can cook. Cleaning, I can clean. Traveling, I travel on my own. Going out, I go out on my own. Jobs, I apply on my own. Like, I don't know how to I don't know how you'd be there for me. I'm basically self-sufficient. It's what I've trained for my whole life. So it's difficult to ask someone how you can be there for them. So all I can say is just consistently remind them that you're there. I don't know. Just consistently remind them you're there. Just, hi, hello, I'm here. Hello, I'm here. Hello, are you fine? Hello, I'm here. That's all. I guess that's just all you can do. I don't know if you and your sister are like close, because I've started not mending per se. Our relationships were not bad with my sisters, but we were distant. And I find that in the recent past, we've become very open to talking about our experiences. And even just the other day, I was talking about my sexual abuse experience, and my sister was like, wait, I walked into that conversation between, I don't know, dad and someone. She was so young. How old is she? Younger than me? She's 7 years younger than me. So she walked into a certain conversation. She's never comprehended it. But when I shared that experience, she was like, oh, wait, it was you they were talking about in that conversation. So you can imagine how many years later, because that happened, I think, when I was 13. How many years later does she now recall and realize, oh, wait a minute, this is something my sister went through. So I don't know if those relations are something you can bridge the gap. You can narrow the gap to get to a point where she feels like you're someone that she can trust. And when you see someone keep a diary, that is someone who literally has no one. I kept a diary for a very long time in my life. That's just someone who's lost all hope, like nothing. But Hey, two more mails, guys. Let's hold on. Two more mails and we're out of here. And they're still very long, but I promise to finish this podcast. So let's go. I'd write a whole book on this, I tell you. 1,000 words per second. Numero uno. I don't talk to my mom. It's now 10 months. Long story short, I married a Luo man. What is with people in marrying Luo men and parents refusing? Oh, this is so... Oh my goodness, I just realized how ironic this is because I have my Luo man merchandise on set. And every single topic that has come out about romance and tribe is just Luo men. Anyway, numero uno. I don't talk to my mom. It's now 10 months. Long story short, I married a Luo man, my baby daddy, which she didn't like. Why? He isn't an SDA. I stopped going to church too, like 9 years ago. By getting married to a non-Adventist, I nyimad her an opportunity ya harusi. She loves weddings. I hate weddings. I have no idea. I have no idea if she knows that. So your mom wanted you to marry an Adventist just so you could have a wedding. Can't you have a wedding without necessarily it being in church? Anyway, again, she said, we don't share the same beliefs. What is it that we have to talk about? I respected her wishes and she stayed away from her. Even if you're my mother's child, relationships with her are very transactional. If she's not benefiting heavily from you, then she withdraws support. To get anything from her, you have to accept to be used by her. Oh boy, she knows how to use people, I tell you. Kwanza kwa kuwaweka mfanye kazi. Your back will break. She'll never even say shikai 300 and a blow dry nywele. Your payment is she is housing you and providing food for you. Mind you, we have a very huge home, the hacienda kind, with lots of farm and animal work. During COVID, she started a poultry farm. My sister and I asked her if we could add some chicks. We rear them together, then split the profits. This time I had lost my job, COVID. So I went home with chicks, 100 of them. I took care of all of the chicken, 500 of them. If you've done poultry, you know the kind of work that's in rearing chicks from a day old. On top of that, I was the designated housemaid. Yes, she was the one buying the feeds and medication. The chicken became ready for the market. I sold the cocks at 800 and the mueras at 600. We didn't sell all of them though. I gave her 70,000. Guess what my mom gave me and my sister? 1,000 bob each. Shoot me. If I ever try to do business with my mom again, hey, Olive. To her, kids are free labor. Wacha when tulikata hiyo mchezo and moved away from home. Hey. The list is endless. As I said, I'd write a whole book. In some ways, her toxicity has made us. This doesn't mean I'm acknowledging that she does as right. This doesn't mean I'm acknowledging what she does as right. We are working on some things, but generally we are those people who don't rely on anyone for anything, even each other. Hata comfort sijui I should lean on. Hata comfort I sijui a shoulder to lean on. My mom would promise you something, you do everything to please her, then last minute akuruke. Ubaki hapo umejishangaa. Mimi, I don't make promises. I also do not appreciate promises being made to me. If someone wants to do something for me, don't tell me. Just surprise me after doing it. I can't take any more broken promises. There are things growing up we knew if we asked hawezi kubali, so we didn't ask. When we grew up, then did them. Where? I had my hair locked in 2019. I never asked her for anything. When she saw me, she just said, kuku za village zikipotea wewe utakuwa first suspect. That is to mean if any chicken in the village gets lost, you will be the first suspect just because you've locked your hair. Anyway, worst is when my two sisters also locked their hair. My mother hates me for influencing them negatively. To shorten this, somehow we've learned some very weird form of attachment, especially with people. We don't attach, even in relationships. I can't explain how this came to be. All of us 5 siblings are like that. Let me stop this here before I keep going and write a whole book. Thank you for this beautiful space that you have created, Olive. My friends, my sisters, and I listen to you religiously. Paka will review your episodes. I'm learning a lot on this journey. Keep doing what you are doing. Signed, lovely, lovely person. Well, you have addressed so many things, but here's one thing I need to tell you. Some of us have parents who have toxic traits. Some of us have outrightly toxic parents. There is no in between. They are malicious, manipulative, calculated people. And they are your parents. And there's really nothing much you can do about it because it feels like your mother is just outrightly toxic. Like she's just genuinely a bad person. She doesn't have traits here and there. Your mom is just mean. And of course, she's messed up all 5 of you siblings. I like that you, as much as you struggle with connection, all you siblings are like you're close. The fact that you sit and actually listen to the same podcast and actually talk about it, and you all learn about each other and you all know you're having struggles with connecting, that means you're close in some way, you're sharing some way. At least it helps to have company in your traumas. It helps to have someone who relates. It helps to have someone who have the same experiences as you. So I love that you have your siblings. Of course, the character development you have faced from your mother, it is life, because even for all of us, that's how we had to learn. Your parents did you dirty. You realized, oh, wait a minute. I don't think I will be doing this with you again. And I'm out. Okay. So I do understand what you're going through. It does not necessarily mean that you don't even have the money, because we know some parents are mean and some parents just don't have the money. It's okay when your parents don't have the money, but if your parents have the money and they're being mean about it, because I really do not see how you would labor that much for a business and you don't even have a job at that point. COVID has robbed you of your job and your mother takes all the money and gives you 1,000 Kenyan shillings. 1,000 Kenyan, let me see what 1,000 Kenyan shillings can buy you right now. 1,000 Kenyan shillings can buy you a 10 pack of tissue and 2 kg packets of maize meal flour. 3 pieces of, that's just 3 things you've left the supermarket with. That's all. That is it. That's it. No change. That's 1,000 shillings. 1,000 shillings is your Uber trip from home to town, and probably from town to halfway back home. Yeah, that's all. That's your Uber trip. That's all. Hey, your mother is a sport. Yo. I'm glad you have your siblings. I hope you'll be able to work through this trauma. We've already talked about not being able to connect. I myself am a victim of not being able to connect to people. But let us hope. I'm sending you love to your siblings and to your friends who also listen to the podcast. So much love. I have so much love for you. I cannot begin to put to words. I'm just hugs, warm hugs, beautiful. And also you and your baby daddy and you, who's going to be your husband. I'm wishing you a beautiful family. Or am I mixing up stories? You're going to marry someone, right? You're going to marry your Luo man, right? Yes. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful life together. I hope your kids grow up loving the environment they've grown up in. The first thing is to recognize and then it gets easier to address. So thank you so much for sharing this. You've addressed so much. But anyway, your mom is mean, toxic, and just know that you're dealing with a highly narcissistic person. And the last mail. Hey guys, I am so sorry, but this is the last email. Don't worry, okay? This person says, you know Larry. I doubt you know him, but I do. Larry is sweet and loving and kind, but everyone hates Larry. Larry is like love that is bitter and sweet at the same time. January 16th, 2023, I became Larry's friend. It was another night where I had cried my eyes out and used my inhaler a million times. The night I realized that I wouldn't be able to join KMTC because I had failed my bridging course. February 22nd, 2023, Larry visited me again. A night after I had failed my US visa interview, my life was in shambles. March 23rd, 2023, Larry visited again. That day, my cousin had passed away. Larry's only condition to love me was that I take a blade and cut my thighs, because true love is painful. True love has to hurt. Larry loved me as I sat in bed after having a fight with my mom. Larry was there when my friends no longer took my calls. Larry brought a friend along. I named him Harry. Harry told me to jump off a bridge at K Road. I am just 19 years old. My mom and I have always had a relationship. Wouldn't say good or bad, but this year I lost so many things that I wanted, and that really restructured my life into thinking my mother is super religious and a Catholic Christian. When all that was happening, she kept on saying about how God's love is always there and that he has better plans for me. But I messed up, and it was not God's doing but mine. From then, I started having a wavy relationship with her. I quit church and I no longer joined her evening prayer. Hey, Olive. She said that I have become the devil worshipper. It was chaotic. As I mentioned, I am 19 years old and I am the last born. I will never willingly put myself in a situation to be abused. So I am intentional about being child-free and marriage-free. I mark 2 weeks, 3 days since I got my IUD, non-hormonal. However, all these changes brought by pain have really made my mom and I drift. She's constantly guilt-tripping me into going to church and wanting to have kids in the future. I recently moved out and joined a university, so my life is easier since I have my own place. However, my mom calls every day, which is a nice thing, but she keeps on reminding me how she doesn't have money and it's all my fault. However, I failed in certain things that cost us money, and now she can't progress like she would have loved to. I love her, but she means the world to me. Since she's my only parent, I, however, hate being constantly guilt-tripped and reminded of my failure and the bad financial situation we are in because of me. It is so stressing. I barely go home. Maybe once in a month, nikiendea ndizi na avocado. That's my sister and I, have to help her build a house. I actually don't mind that. I would gladly do it once my career starts paying off and I don't feel like it's such a burden. However, I just don't like how her reminding me that we have to do it because she spent the money she intended to build with on me. I know we don't have money. She sends me enough money monthly and I really do appreciate that. What really makes me feel super bad is her constantly reminding me that she's spending all her money on me. It really breaks my heart, more because I can't be of help now that I'm in school. The best I can do is manage the money well. I wish things would be better financially for us. Somebody please get me out of this adulting bullshit before I lose my mind. I am 19 years, but I feel so exhausted. I just wake up so tired of life and living. I feel like I will lose my shit at some point. I don't know whether Larry and Harry are the voices in your head. And if they are, I think that is quite dangerous. There's not much you can do right now. You'll have to just join free self-help groups if, of course, you don't have the money. And maybe, I don't know. Your story is not strange either, because I know of someone personally who's going through the same thing where the parents just keep reminding her, oh, you're the reason we don't have money. You're the reason we spent so much money on you. Any money that is sent your way is money that you're guilt-tripped for, even if it's for your school fees, surely. First things first, I would like to call out parents. If you brought children to this world, it is your obligation to take care of them. And you don't bring children into this world to take care of them when they're toddlers, when they're teens, when they're preteens. Once you dedicate your life to having a child, please understand that you are responsible for this child until one of you leaves this planet. Whether they are 50 years old or 10, you are responsible for taking care of them. How much money you spend on them is none of their business. They're doing you a favor by trying to optimize the money that you're sending them and trying to be easy on you. But just know that that is not a favor you're doing them. But anyway, I don't know. I can't even think of an immediate advice to give you, because again, there's the financial abuse aspect here where you are reliant on this person for money, for you to pay your school bills, for you to eat, for you to study. So I think your options are limited here. I don't know. Man, I don't know. I have something I want to say in my head, but I don't know if it is safe to say it. But anyway, let me give an experience I had. I don't know. I was the easy child, so my parents didn't think of me as someone to take care of much. And so when I joined campus, I really struggled with asking for money. Yes, I would ask for money, but there'd be so many questions. I'd just be like, what happened to the money I gave you last time? We are spending a lot of money on you. And I hated being the reason for someone not having money, or rather struggling. And I hated calling home so much. So, and as I said before, I was a lucky girl. So I got some gigs. I got some singing gigs. I got some voice gigs that gave me some pocket money. At least school fees was paid. That I was sure they were not negotiating with. School fees was paid. So I just had to find money here and there to survive. But the problem is, if I went for a long time without calling home to get money, then I'd be called and asked, what are you doing to get money? What business have you gotten into that you're not calling to get money? So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But at the time, I was just comfortable just getting my own money. I longed for the day when I'd just have my own money so that I'm not answerable to someone. And it is so hard when the person who is financially abusing you or manipulating you is your parent. It's not a romantic partner who you can walk away from. It's not a friend who you can just say it's over. It's your parent. I'm sending you so much love. What I would say is, see avenues in which you can find ways to make money somehow. Just figure it out. You're in campus, you have, I don't know what course you're studying. I had all the time in the world. I was studying media. You're in campus. When you get a little time, when you see your friends exploring some business opportunities, you can just look into them and see where you can get some extra money, what business you can go into, check social media, what can you do to get some money of your own. It really helps with autonomy when you have something of your own. It's okay to like them still have backup, to still send you backup, but at least when you have your own money, there's some confidence you have, there's some and your own money is addictive. Once you make the first paycheck, once you're paid, the first one like this is yours. You're not answerable to anyone. It's addictive, freaking addictive. From there on, you will never want to stop working. But I would advise find outlets. And one of them could be businesses or places you can get money. And the other thing could be things you can do to just let out the anger and all that. I think it's sinister for your mother to call you every day to just remind you that you cost her money. I think it's very mean of her to consistently feel entitled to you building her a house. I know you want to. It's okay. You build her a house. That's fine. But them being entitled to it is where the problem comes in. You don't owe it to them. But if you want to do it, that's fine. You're also 19. Your priorities might change. Your relationship with your mother might change. You might learn a few things as you grow. It's okay. Just continue to extend yourself grace. Find outlets. I don't want Larry and Harry coming back. Okay. Find outlets where you can express this. I don't know. For me, going to Spoken Heart was easy for me. I'd go and listen to people present poems, people sing. I would also join the band and sing. I would join the choir. Actually, just as recently as January, or was it last year? Oh, it's already 8 months since I went to choir. Okay. Last year I had actually joined an old people's choir, and it's just an outlet. You need somewhere to let it out. Whatever works for you. You're still young. I guess you're fresh in campus. You still haven't seen the different places where you can expel all this energy and frustration. But if you find it, go for it. Get ways of getting money. But your parents, but your mom has bad manners. Hey, what is that? Anyway, I'll go through some. Gosh, it's hectic. This is the longest we've ever gone for a podcast. I don't know if I'll put them in 2 parts, but anyway, let's just go through some of my personal experiences. One, I am very weak and non-argumentative. These are things I struggle with because my parents' toxic trait. I generally think my parents are not toxic. They have traits. They have certain traits but yes, I'm very non-argumentative. I'm very withdrawn. And this is because, so I responded the opposite way. Unlike how other people mimic what they see, I responded the opposite way. My mom is very loud. Her decibels are up there. And my sisters are very loud as well. And usually, I think if you interact with me on social media or if you hear me on this podcast, people assume I'm a loud person, but I am not. Where people are shouting, where I experience sensory overload, I cannot function. I don't have a good word for it, but I would say I'm weak. I cannot argue. I cannot fight. I cannot. Any situation that needs confrontation cannot be me. Cannot be me. Maybe that's why I was blessed with athleticism. I will run. Catch me, Kemboy, if you can. Catch me. But I think that is because living in a place where everyone was so loud. But even if I were to be loud, I was the child who was never listened to. I was the child whose side of the story was never listened to. So I think I just got to a place where I just decided to keep to myself. And by the time I was an adult and started speaking, I realized, oh, wait, I can't shout. I can't scream. I can't be louder than people in the room. I literally, just the other day, last year, I was organizing something for our office, and we were outdoors, and one of my colleagues kept telling me, Olive, use your outside voice. And I was like, it does not exist. But people don't believe it doesn't exist because a lot of people interact with me like on a very close interaction. So you feel like my voice is normal. But seriously, I cannot raise my voice for shit. In places where my voice is trained, in places where music might be playing, or I have to talk over people, I swear the next day I'm waking up without a voice. Is as serious as it being a physical manifestation of me not having a voice. Something else is I have trust issues. I have major trust issues. It has become so normal in my life that I cannot connect and I don't trust people. And there's someone who said they don't like promises, and that's me as well. Don't promise me anything. And I genuinely do not record promises. If someone calls me and tells me, oh, I'll buy you a watch tomorrow, it does not record in my head. The only record that will be stored in my head is an actual watch in front of me. So I have trust issues. Seeing is believing for me. I literally do not believe in anything that I cannot touch. It has to be tangible for me to even have reserved space of mind for it. And this is because I grew up with a highly religious mother, and it was really difficult to speak. I didn't know when my opinion would be wrong. I didn't know. And our parents, because it's been said here before, our parents they didn't explain. No, it's not been said here. I think it was a TikTok. Our parents didn't explain what the problem was. Our parents would just let you figure shit out. Okay. They wouldn't tell you, Olive, this is something you need to change, or because of this and that. Our parents would just tell you, no, don't do that. So me, I grew very fearful. And then the trust issues came with, I don't know who here is my friend. My teacher will one day wake up and say, your daughter did this, and they'd be believed and I'd be punished. My sisters can clearly go tell my mom, Olive did that, just because they want to be malicious, and I'd be punished. I grew up just thinking, I have no friend. I cannot trust. Everybody is a snitch. And so for that reason, I just have trust issues. And it's manifested in my attachment styles. I literally cannot connect to people. I have swiped people off my memory involuntarily. I just didn't interact with you for so long that I forgot you ever existed. And it's alarming at some point. Something else I'm struggling with is expressing myself. And this, I don't know if some things are hereditary. Me, I feel like this was from my dad. My dad is very non-confrontational, and that is something that I've taken up. You'll never hear him voice his opinion. You'll never hear him shout. He's very calm and collected and will express his thoughts in a very calm manner. But my father won't get into arguments. My father won't tell you that he doesn't want to do what you're telling him to do. He'll just go ahead and do that which he wants. And my mom says I'm tough-headed like my father because I don't argue. I genuinely will not argue with you. We won't even have a discussion. Me, I'll just leave you to your ways. It's fine. You do as you please. But trust me, if I don't want to do something, I won't do it. I won't argue with you. I won't fight with you. I won't tell you whether I'm going to do it or not. I will just not do it. And I guarantee you can't beat me up. So I struggle really expressing myself. My father is non-confrontational. I am non-confrontational. When I'm extremely frustrated, when I'm in a moment where I'm supposed to express emotions that are negative, I usually just break down. I shut down. And I've always said the only way I process something negative is I sleep. Literally, my body shuts. If I feel inconvenienced, frustrated, anything right now, because I even struggle with insomnia, really, but the minute I feel stressed, shut down. My body goes into restful sleep, like a coma. I will sleep. Yet I do not sleep normally. So yeah, these things manifest physically as well. And lastly, I'm a recovering people pleaser. I am so proud because right now, I am pleasing nobody. And to think that just a few years or months back, I was bending over backwards for everyone in this town. And I think the people pleasing came from also what has been mentioned before. Our African parents were very keen on what other people think about us. And so I just came into the system. I was a goody two shoes. So if we were supposed to keep up a good face out there, we're gonna be looking clean out here. So for a while, not for a while, my whole life, I started working on not being a people pleaser from probably 4 years ago, or maybe 3. Yeah, maybe. I've come a long way and I'm so proud of me. And once I broke off from that, what will people think? It made it way easier. I was just like, and how I broke off from that is I realized whether you do good or bad, people will continue saying negative things. So it didn't matter. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Do as you please, they will still talk. Do as you please, they will still be malicious. Do as you please, there's still people who'll come after you. So, yeah, that was all for me. This episode is so long. It's going to be a 2-part. I'm going to put them all up together. Hopefully, they can both upload at the same time. But I'll have the part 1 and the part 2 come out all together consecutively in the same day. But yeah, I got you. I hope it doesn't get to 2 hours. Almost. But yes, thank you for this episode. It's a heavy one. I am discussing it in season 4 again with wider perspectives. So yeah, but we are this is episode 21. We are 3 episodes away from closing season 3, the longest season on this podcast. And I am so happy you're doing this with me. Thank you for coming here and trusting me and sharing your stories. It means the world to me. And I feel impactful. I feel like I'm putting a footprint on this planet by creating a space where there is no judgment, where we can discuss these things that we never felt like we could tell anyone. And I continue to say that I really wanted to be the person I wanted earlier in my life. So if I can be that person for someone else, I'd be so happy. And this was a heavy one. That brings us to the end of another episode of the In All Honesty podcast. And until next time, I love you, but I gotta leave you. My fabulous name is Oliver Rao. Take care, hydrate, be safe. Lots of love. Bye.